Welcome. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell. Thank you for listening. This is Joey. Let's get started. Now, I've said this a number of times in previous videos, but we haven't ever gotten a chance to catch this in live action. I wanted to point out to everybody what I've been saying about how when it comes to Africans and African Americans getting involved in talks about who's taking whose jobs or who's whose brother or who came here and why and who's doing better here, these are circular arguments that are meant to distract and waste time when it comes to dealing with Black Americans. If you want to cut right to the shit when it comes to dealing with an African immigrant, do exactly what Tariq did and ask, what is the benefit of immigrants here in America to a Black American? Now, when this happened, we got a rare opportunity to show what I've been saying for a while is this. One, there is no benefit. But two, and this is the most important thing to ask an African, right? Ask them, do they feel like they're here because of Black Americans or because of white Americans? And in this little conversation Tariq has with an African immigrant, they straight up tell you the weakness that they have. They're going to tell you why they think they are here. And in that explanation, it's going to show you the logical flaw that they have politically when it comes to having to respect Black Americans. Watch this. Watch why he says why he is here, why African immigrants are here, why they are allowed here. Watch this.
What's up? Who's calling?
Okay, my name is Lumi.
Looney, where you calling from, sir?
Okay, Frederick, Maryland.
Okay, and where you from originally?
Okay, I'm from Nigeria.
Nigeria. So what's on your mind, sir?
Yeah. Okay, I've been listening to you all day, I have to be very honest. And this is it. I do agree with you that immigrants actually they owe a gratitude to their host country. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do agree with that. Mm-hmm. And that is supposed to be all over the world. All over the world, all immigrants owe that gratitude to their host country and the people. Now back to the United States. We as immigrants, we owe that to not only the blacks, whether it's foundational Black Americans or no, not only them, but to every liberal, immigrant-friendly American, white or black.
Then why
and
are
I
okay?
Even believe,
okay, so why?
I even believe the liberal, immigrant-friendly white, the Bernie Sanders people and all that, I even believe that they outnumber you guys, because these people that you're talking about, they outnumber the blacks, in my own opinion, because I know you guys are in the minority. And you agreed to that when you were talking to the South African guy this afternoon, when you told him that why didn't they do for Mandela, and he told you, okay, why didn't you guys do for Dr. King what you are asking us, what you're saying we should have done for Mandela? You said you know you are in the minority. I just think that the white liberals, immigrant-friendly liberals, I think you have belittled them, and I think they deserve some more respect.
Now, I hope everybody was paying attention to this, because this is very important what he said. And this can help dispel a whole lot of miscommunication and misunderstandings we have between two groups. And it's all political, like I'm always saying. Black Americans have been thinking all this time through the civil rights movement and Pan-Africanism that the thing that's supposed to unite Black Americans and Africans living in America, the thing that's supposed to keep us on the same page, is a camaraderie and a mutual understanding of our quote unquote shared struggle and an appreciation for us quote unquote letting you in the country, right? Which we did. However, as this African pointed out right there, Africans who live in America have no respect, no recognition, and no real gratitude towards Black Americans in America today, because they full and well believe that the reason that they're here and allowed to walk around in the country is because of the white liberal, the white immigrant friendly liberal. So he's telling you straight up that Africans living in America, they know what side their bread is buttered on. They know that when they come here to America, their understanding is the thing that keeps them here and the thing that keeps them comfortable. And the difference between them staying here in America and going back to Africa is the white immigrant friendly liberal. They no longer look at this and no longer have to pretend like there's some sort of shared, unified Pan-African struggle going on to keep Black Americans distracted and allowing them to come in the country. They feel they have an inroads with the white immigrant-friendly, as he put it, liberal, and they don't have to acknowledge us. Now let's listen a little more. Let's keep going.
All about the Black Americans. These people outnumber you. You are in minority. So what happens to their own vote?
Okay.
You are in the minority, and so are your votes.
Okay. So you're saying it's the white liberal or the immigrant liberal? Is that what you're saying?
The white immigrant-friendly liberals also have to be appreciated.
Okay. So
it's
why
not just this gratitude is not just for the Black Americans.
the immigrant-friendly liberal? That's the person you have to.
Yes,
thank.
the white ones.
Okay. So why
Your
do
vote alone couldn't have done anything for us.
who hasn't done nothing for you?
I said your vote alone couldn't have done anything for us without them.
Okay, again, I just want to make sure everybody caught that part. Now, he made it very clear, and I'm not attacking this guy. I really appreciate him being honest with showing you what the average African immigrant's worldview is. Their understanding, despite all that Pan-African talk of a shared struggle and the 1960s and all of that stuff, as far as an African is concerned, they don't remember any of that shit, and it never happened. The way that Africans got here to this country is white folks voted for them to come in. That's where their appreciation is going to come in. So this is why I said it's a circular, time-wasting argument, even though it's factually true and easily verifiable and correct that African Americans are the sole reason Africans are allowed to walk around in the United States today. They don't care about that shit because they look at it like white people just voted them in. So right off the bat, you're not going to get any appreciation from these people. Right off the bat, you're not going to get any reciprocation or accommodation or respect from these people because they're not walking around thinking from any civil rights Pan-African mindset like the average African American is. They're thinking from an immigrant mindset of white folks let me in. No different than an Italian, no different than an Indian, no different than an Asian. White folks let me in here. So white folks are the only people whose temperature I have to be aware of. White folks are the only people whose attitudes towards me are what I have to be concerned about. Now, for the most part, if you're an immigrant and you look at it like that, that's correct. But there's one fatal flaw in that thinking politically when it comes to Black Americans that Africans don't understand. And we'll get to at the end. Let's keep going.
And you need to understand that.
Okay, do you understand that the reason you can come here and become a citizen is because of foundational Black Americans fighting for the 14th Amendment?
Well, everything comes down to the last individual vote, and you can't force anybody to vote. Even if they fought for it, somebody's out there preaching, campaigning, I'll do this and that for immigrants.
But it was foundational Black. Hey, it was.
Now, what did I just say? You see how Tariq pointed out the 14th Amendment, something that really happened in history that directly benefits Africans coming into the country to this day. It's the cornerstone of why you were allowed to do so. It's the cornerstone of all immigration and birthright citizenship and naturalization here in America that was made by, for, and about, and because of African Americans. And you see how he just brushed that off to it comes down to a vote. Now, what does that actually mean, right? If you don't have the 14th Amendment, you can't vote on letting immigrants in the country, right? And even if we were going to go that route, you can sit down and explain to him the African Exclusion Act and how Booker T. Washington helped to remove that and again to allow Africans to come into the country. But that African is going to play dumb because he knows that his existence here in the country right now, as he put it, is by and large due to white liberals voting them in. They know full and well that they're here to be a thorn in the side of black Americans politically. But he's not going to acknowledge any of those amendments to the Constitution of the country, because then he would have to admit that, yeah, you're right, black Americans let you in. But let's go on.
Foundational black Americans sacrificing and fighting these white supremacists in order to get that implemented. It wasn't just the vote. We fought them.
Then at the end
Hey. Okay, let's get something clear, brother. I'm letting you talk.
Okay.
Do not cut me off. We talking. Cut that bullshit out.
Okay.
Let's talk, but don't cut me off. I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to dialogue with you.
Okay,
It was
listening.
foundational black Americans who created a grassroots movement where they risked their lives and even died to implement the 14th Amendment into the Constitution. That's the reason why you can become a citizen by coming over here, having a kid. If you're born here, you're a citizen. That is 100% because foundational black Americans died for that. White liberals didn't give a shit. It was us putting it on the line. In 1965, it was foundational black Americans. It was not white liberals. White liberals didn't give a shit about y'all. They didn't really want you over here, and they don't
No,
want you.
you need to stop saying that. That's exactly why I called. I don't like it when you say that. Don't say white liberals don't give a shit about us.
They didn't want you over here in the 60s.
Now, see, this is another important thing to remember. Now, who remembers why we call mulattoes tragic mulattoes? It's because in their mind, they think they're just so close to passing and getting free, right? The African immigrant, sadly, is no different, regardless of hue. Do you see how it hurt that man's soul? That man said, I don't like when you say that. He didn't say, I have proof to refute that white liberals don't give a shit about you. He said, I don't like when you say that. That hurts that man's feelings personally, because an African immigrant's personal aspirations, is to not be seen as a black American. That warms an African immigrant's soul when a white person leans over and says, you're not like the others here, Unjambo. You're not like these lazy niggers. That makes them feel a sense of pride that their entire definition is, I'm not one of these blacks. So when they get told the secret that really the liberals don't give a shit about them and they're just being used as a pawn, which deep down they know it's true. Deep down they know it's true. It's a TV trope for the immigrant to fake marry an American just for citizenship. They'll do anything to stay in the country. But it hurts their feelings that they can't live that rags to riches immigrant tale like other white-skinned immigrants. So they want to believe that they can achieve that acceptance. So you see how that bothered him. That hurt his soul. And again, this is going to hint to what their weakness is. Now let's keep going.
I've been in this country for like 4 years, and I can tell you I've met more immigrant-friendly white liberals in this country than blacks.
Now, did you hear this man? He said he'd been in this country for 4 years. That would put it, that means he came in as Donald Trump was here. He wasn't even here for Obama. He hasn't been here for more than 4 years, right? Which means he has no idea how the attitudes of these liberal friendly whites are going to go once the tide starts turning. This is what happens when you're an immigrant and you come into a country completely ignorant of the local politics. See, black Americans, we see the writing on the wall. We see Joe Biden's presidency, the Democrats' time in office in the Congress and the Senate coming to a close. We see a giant red wave coming, right? We see all the shit coming because we know how this process goes, and we know how quickly the white liberals are going to drop all these immigrants the second things become no longer advantageous for them politically, right? And we know, because this was just a few short years ago, we know who everybody's going to come crawling to in a second.
I can tell you that for sure. So don't say that. You are spreading the wrong narrative and dangerous one when you say that. Stop saying they don't give a damn about us. It's not fair. You can't say that.
Are you caping for white people, sir?
I'm not. What I'm telling you is this. You keep saying all day, okay, these people, they don't respect us enough. We brought them here. It's because of us that they are here and all that. And I keep asking myself, you guys are in the minority. What are you talking about? How about all these white liberals that are immigrant friendly as well?
And that's about all that's relevant from that video. But let's recap real quick. My man said that nothing that Black Americans have done for Africans here in America counts because we're in the minority. So what that means is any progress that's been brought through this country that has benefited Africans coming to America and immigrating, well, that's really the white liberals doing. And Black Americans have just been dragged along. So we get no credit. We get no acknowledgement. There is no brotherhood. There is no camaraderie. And they don't even got to check in with or respect us in our country. Or, as I've been told by Nigerians specifically and Africans in general on Kobe Smith's Black American podcast, this isn't your country. This is the white man's country. So herein lies the weakness of the African immigrant. And herein lies how you can put that genie back in the bottle. See, we throw around words a lot in politics that we don't really acknowledge what they really mean. We throw around words like ally. We throw around words like ally, but then we use the word like we mean friend. Friend's your friend to the end. Allies mean that we have an overlapping set of goals, right? We have an alliance based on a situation that benefits the both of us. We're in an alliance. The second that circumstance no longer is the case, the alliance is over, right? And what we do with these people is we base our alliances off of dumb things like similar or like appearance, apparent similar struggles, right? And the second that those things no longer are the case, that alliance is over, and we don't realize it because we're thinking friendship. Now, was there a point in time during the 60s where African interest and Black American interest may have overlapped, culminating in an alliance during the Civil Rights Movement that we identified as Pan-Africanism? Possibly. Is that the case now? Not at all. Africans have a completely different interest than Black Americans. And what Black Americans aren't realizing is that Africans are still toying with us with this nostalgic idea of Pan-Africanism, when in reality, as it was so eloquently put by that Nigerian caller, the thing that keeps them in check is who can make them go away. Now let's talk about that. His understanding of the Black political power scene is what most people think, that Black people are a quote unquote captured vote that has to do whatever the Liberal Party says. And so he only has to acknowledge the Liberal Party. Here's the problem with that. Like I said a moment ago, Black Americans, we see the political winds changing. Black Americans, we understand we're the thing that powers the Liberal Party, right? And we've just allowed them to have our power all this time. We've been on autopilot, voting blue no matter who. We're about to not do that shit. That's what the African doesn't realize. The liberals that you say you answer to, they answer to us. They're constantly worried about where the Black vote's gonna go. And if you've been paying attention to the tea leaves or even casually clicking on the news as of late, you would know one place the Black vote ain't going is anywhere near the Democratic Party. We don't even have to jump to the Republican Party. All we got to do is not show up. Ask all them Liberian Americans that were about to get shipped and shoveled off back to Liberia under Donald Trump if they appreciated the Black votes getting the liberals back in check. Think about it. The liberals are so friendly with Black immigrants. Joe Biden literally let a bunch of Haitians get their asses whipped. Not getting your ass whipped as in lost a fight. I mean, literally getting your asses whipped. Because you no longer benefit them. The Democratic Party will up and leave you in a political position. These political parties deserted us during Reconstruction. You think they're going to stand by you once these Republicans start stamping down on all this immigration? Good luck. Now, what we have to do as a people politically is let these Africans know in great detail. Okay, you think that the reason that you're here is because of the liberal white. Well, Black Americans are going to withdraw all support from the liberal whites. And let's see how them liberal whites do for you on their own without our votes. That's something a lot of people don't understand. I'll say this again. It's a basic math problem when it comes to votes. You take all the people in America who are eligible to vote And the largest voting bloc is non-voters of any color, of any political party, of anything. The largest voting bloc is non-voters in America. Once you do that, everybody else who's not black splits on one side or the other of a 45 to 55 right-wing leaning split for the entire country. That's facts. Look it up. It's every election cycle. Every election cycle, the country leans slightly more politically right than it does left. And that's without all the bullshit, insane shit the Democratic Party was doing with forced mandates and costing people their jobs. Because that's going to cost you with another crucial voting bloc, which is the independent voters. So the non-voters ain't coming as per their deal. The independent voters are swinging Republican because they're tired of all this bullshit with the you-know-what. The Republican Party is amped up and charged up fresh off of thinking they got an election stolen. So there goes your enthusiasm gap. And the only group of people that the liberals have in their back pocket is the Black American vote. And it behooves us, after hearing what that African said, it behooves us to play a game of chicken. If Africans truly believe that the thing that keeps them in the country, and I agree with them, the thing that keeps them in the country is the white liberal, then it's time to defund and depower the white liberal to put the African in check. We want the African in check. They're not our allies, they're not our brothers, they're not our friends. They're just other people. And we want them in check to where they in check means you are constantly aware of the conditions between the two of us. Because the second somebody gets out of check, they start thinking they don't got to respect you. You want the African in 2022 to walk around on tepid ground, on tender footing, like the African in the 1960s did, that knew that their existence and safety in America was totally dependent on Black Americans. This is called getting somebody fucked up. This is called not getting it right. So if you really feel like the white liberal, that white mommy can save you, let's see it. The Black Americans, we're going to pull all our support, which is what we were doing anyway, pulling all our support away from the Democratic Party. And let's see how the Democratic Party and how the African immigrant fends on its own when the tide of the country's attitude towards immigrants starts changing. We were only a couple years removed from putting niggas in cages. They hadn't gotten to the Africans yet. Remember, they were starting with the Hispanics first, and they was just getting around to sending niggas back to their home countries talking about, hey, the Liberian War's over. You can go back now. See, Africans don't even understand all that flattery that people was giving you in the paper. So you guys are the best. You guys are the immigrants doing the best. You think those are compliments. Those are setups. Today it's, hey, the African immigrants doing the best in America. Tomorrow it's, hey, you guys are doing so good, you can go back. How soon we forget these same Africans that were saying we're here because of the white liberal, them same Nigerians was crying, talking about, please do not vote for Trump. He's going to send us back. And who was you crying to? You wasn't crying to the white liberal, because you know who the white liberal answers to. The white liberal needs the Black American as cover fire to do anything. The white liberal is going to be working overtime this entire midterm leading up to the presidential election to try to please the Black American vote. And one of the things that we're going to want on that list, no more Africans involved with us. You're going to say our names and you're going to know who we are. No more mushing us in with all these African knockoffs. No more tether talk. And watch how quickly the white liberal, in order to preserve its vote, not because it likes us. See, the African thought the white liberals like him. In order to preserve its vote and preserve its status, watch how quickly the white liberal cuts off the African immigrant. Not the immigrant, because you still need a lot of Hispanic votes, but the African immigrant is wholly expendable, especially if you feel like it'll cost you position with the Black American vote. So this further lets you know that you shouldn't be voting Democrat, because the people that benefit from you voting Democrat don't even acknowledge the work you're putting in, don't respect you, do not benefit you at all, and see you as an adversary when we get here. Signing out.